we lost you. And I know I can just, if I just bang, I would just bang this mic, like accidentally hit it, and it would trip out this radio. So it was getting an audio. My estimate right now is 1.01 to 1. Stable. So it's definitely an audio thing. And I think I just didn't have the processor really set up correctly. And yeah, I think this thing, when you put, well, yeah, when it's in line input, you can't, the way I have it wired, when it's line input, that's all it's doing is bringing the line level in. There's no adjustment. I think there was a way that you could wire that pot so that input level control would control both the mic level and the line, but I don't think I wired it that way. So this is a 520, I believe. Here's what I got, either a 510 or a 520 unit. So yeah, cool. All right, we'll leave things. I'm not sure what happened to Peter. Maybe he got a phone call or something. But yeah, it's like boats too. Like, you know, you see people advertise. You know, you see a boat advertised, and you always want to see, is it been used in the saltwater or has it been a freshwater boat? It makes a big difference. So yeah. I've seen some motorcycles posted on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff, and I can see you can see they're all corroded up, the aluminum, you know, and everything. And you look at the address, and they're like right near the shore or something, you know. There's like almost on the beach, and everything just, even if it's not physically, you know, getting in the water, that it's in the air, you know, when you're that close to the beach. So anyway, let's see if Peter's back. Yeah, let's see. KA3STN and the group KA3PTX.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Peter. Yeah, you might turn the input down a little bit. I think there's some distortion introduced in the EQ and all that before the Max, because it sounds more overdriven than it normally would. I can crank, so I just have the microphone plugged into this Max, and I can really crank the input up, and it doesn't really seem to have excessive distortion. Like this is pretty far up now, and it seems to maintain the level. The guys were saying, the Clark and all were saying how much dynamic range the thing allows on the input. Like I said something like 35 dB. You can increase the input level 35 dB. I got the input level turned all the way up. Yay! And I'm really, you know, I have peak lights on solid. Negative and positives on solid, and I don't think it sounds any more distorted. And I'll turn it back to where I normally run it, and you know, there. Now the dynamic processing I got open, and this is dense. That's a little bit too much, I think. And there's medium, but medium's okay. But I run it at open, and I don't know if you have those controls. But, you know, if it's working right, if the box is working right, you can really push the input, and the output will not go up. So, but the way it is now, you got like a lot of solid, dense audio, but there's some distortion creeping in. And I know you have a tendency to be like turn the head, don't talk right into the mic all the time. Maybe you look at things in the shack and all, and your audio goes way down, like when you do that with a normal setup. So you need a good amount of compression for how you operate. And you got it pretty close. It's just maybe a little too much, or what you have before that EQ is overdriving the input of the Max or something. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure with the 520 at the how that input circuit. The first one I had, which is the bigger box, you had 2 inputs, and you had controls for each. I think you had a mic and a line, and you had 2 inputs and 2 outputs, and each output was individually had a pot that would control it, which I thought was really nice. But they didn't have room for that on the one rack unit space. You get to pick whether it's line or mic, and the level works on both. And you get one output. Yeah, you get 2 outputs, but you got one level control. The other one is, I think, a pot inside. So, it's more of a compromise. But I like that first one was nice. That it had two inputs and 2 outputs. The 2 outputs especially were nice for driving different transmitters. You wouldn't have to switch anything, and you could preset, them up and wire them up. That was kind of cool. So maybe just reduce that input a little bit and see what it sounds like there. Ed, KA3PTX with KA3STN on the side from N2DTS.
Okay, I'm back. KA3STN.
Okay, Peter. Yeah, why don't you pick it up there? I did back down that input just a little bit, Brett. So anyway, maybe it sounds better. But go ahead, Peter. Pick it up and then send it over to me, please. KA3STN and the group KA3PTX.
Okay there, I think you said what I picked up from Brett. And good evening to you also. Yeah, you're a nice big signal, but you're both running a fair amount of power. Well, I'm running just the 50 watts here on the FTGX 101MP. So nothing really a lot here. Yeah, it was a yellow phone call from my brother, and so I wanted to take that because there were some important things we had to network on. Normally I would ignore it if it was a junk call or any of that kind of stuff. And so I turned the volume down on the rig but left it playing. But it's back up now, and heard Brett transmitting, and figured I'd chime back in there and let you know. But you're coming quite nicely also, anywhere from a 9 to 15 over, and occasionally even more than that. I know you're on the senior, and because I was going to ask you a question. I know, what's the gentleman's name? Greg, he has also a senior. I can't dig his call out of my brain here at the moment, but I'm sure you've talked to him. He calls it the Trip Master. And other names too. And another thing that you may, I don't know if your antenna has a very high Q. I know I'm using weird terms here. As far as the SWR curve on each side of center frequency, you're sensitive to that too, especially if you're running nice, good wide audio, which looks like you are doing similar to Brett around 4kc side of center on the waterfall here. And sounding good, both of you. And I think your audio is up from earlier there, Ed. Because I was having a little trouble with you. I was getting big swings on your signal, anywhere from an S5 to 20 over. And it was creating, and it was really rapid, so it was creating a phase distortion effect on the audio when you had it lower. So I missed a syllable here and there and that kind of thing. But you're solid now on this one. But I think the band is settling down from its midday attenuator mode, I like to call it. But yep, I'm probably going to sign out of here soon. I'm getting hungry, but I'll stick in here for one go around. But Ed, you're sounding great. And but yeah, I used to talk to Greg a lot on his senior, and he came up with the name the Trip Master. But you hopefully haven't had any since I was away. But on one, I occasionally turned up when my brother had to deal with his dog for a second, and you were transmitting, and I didn't see it disappear on the meter that I have running on the display here also. KA3PTX, I think I have your call right there, Ed. KA3STN.
Okay, very good there, Peter. KA3STN and the group KA3PTX. I had to switch the receivers here. I was listening to you guys on Japan Radio Corporation NRD 525 receiver, and I just threw an AB switch and listening to you guys on now a Hallicrafters SX62. Pretty beefy receiver and pretty cool. It's got an FM broadcast band on it, push-pull audio. So it's got a pair of 6B6s, and it's got pretty good fidelity. It's got a broad, it's got crystal filters and I guess it's LC filters anyway. You got sharp, medium, and broad, and two different filter selections, and then the tone control's got CW. Oh no, it's okay. Low, medium, hi-fi, and bass. So it's got 4 positions on the tone control, and hi-fi. I guess that's what you put it in hi-fi when you're listening to rock and roll on the FM broadcast band on this radio. And it's a pretty cool radio. Okay, on the phone call there, no problems. Peter, talking to your brother there. I wonder if he's local or it's on the other side of the country or something like that. The Max processor. This only has one knob on either side. It's the bigger box, but it's only got one pot input level and one pot on the output level. So, and Brad, I wonder when you went down to the shore, did your sister? Is there a place down there that you went to? Like, the problem if we ever go to the shore, well, way back in the day, if you just went for the day, got in the water and got all sandy and everything, and then you didn't have a place to shower, or you got in the car all kind of, you dry yourself off, it'd be all kind of sticky from the salt water and sand and your bathing suit and all that, and drive home. But it's nice when if you have somebody that's like staying down there and you can hit their joint before you after you get out of the water and all that. I think some beaches, I don't know if they have showers on it. It's been a while since I've been to the shore actually, but I know they have like bathhouses there, but I don't think there's showers in those. Might be wrong on that. N2DTS and the group KA3PTX. Is the audio sound less distorted or whatever, Brett?
KA3PTX, KA3STN from N2DTS. No, it's still a little bit, it sounds overdriven, and it really shouldn't. I don't know if it's your EQ. Maybe there's a little bit too much low end in it, and it sounds kind of boomy. If you try and EQ it radically before you push it into the Super Senior, that's going to give you some weird results. But you got plenty of audio now. Just either maybe turn it down, input down a little bit, or turn the bass down a little bit. It sounds kind of boomy. But it's nice having plenty of audio, that's for sure. Where we went, you just go swimming and sit around for an hour or so before you leave. Because my wife, my sister especially, they stay for the day. They'll get down there at 10 o'clock and leave at 4 or something like that. And we'll be done in the water, at 2:30 or something, and you're pretty dry. You brush off, you come home, take a shower. For us it's only like 50-minute drive, so we don't stop for ice cream, soft serve. And then you come home and get a shower. So yeah, you're kind of sticky like that, but that doesn't really bother us. You know, if you dry before you to get into the car. It was really, really nice. Now it was overcast, and it wasn't. You know, that's one of the things that I really liked about yesterday was it was pretty overcast. And I didn't feel like I was broiling up in the sun. I don't mind getting a tan, but man, I don't feel like laying out in the sun for hours. It just, you know, when it's really hot. Of course, that makes me stay in the water more. We was in the water for a couple hours, so. But it was overcast, and you know, we got umbrellas and all, so that takes like a lot of the heat off, and you don't have to have, you know, suntan stuff all over you. That probably makes you sticky too. So it was kind of nice that it wasn't a perfect day, you know, it was overcast. The water was warm, and it was a little, I would say the air was a little, like when you got out of the water it was a little chilly, but and that made the water feel warm, and the water was pretty warm anyway, so that was pretty cool. And then it was rough, and it was a good day. And you got the boardwalk, it's got all the treats on it. And it's good to walk the boardwalk or the beach too, you know, that's kind of, the views are nice and all. So, and Peter was talking, you know, phone call and stuff. Remember when long distance calls used to be real expensive? Isn't it interesting that nowadays, you know, you can talk to somebody in California for hours, and before, when we were younger, that would have been like crazy expensive. You know, that's a big improvement, I guess. You know, you can have a cell phone and you can be on the beach and you can be talking to somebody in LA on the beach, and it's whatever your plan is a month. You know, you might as well have that call up all the time. You know, that's pretty amazing. They just suddenly they just started giving long distance away. That was probably not a good business move for the long distance carriers, but that's what they did. So, yeah, I've been to Texas, like Richardson area. I guess that's sort of like central Texas. Driven through some of it, and man, that's like Florida, man. You can keep that. That's really brutal in the summer. Kind of flat, burned out, and dry looking and all. It was not where I was, and you know, built up, and a lot of industry around there, around Richardson though, man. There was a lot of big, Textronics had a big place, Hewlett Packard. There's a lot of places had, you know, a lot of technology places down there, surprisingly, along with the cowboys. Oh. Back to you there, Ed. Maybe back it down a little bit, or maybe just back off the low end a little bit, like that little low 100 hertz, 150 hertz stuff or something like that, I think. KA3PTX with KA3STN from N2DTS. And Peter, your 50 watts is doing very well.
Yes, I think Peter gets it there.
Yep, okay, I'll grab it. Yeah, because I do need to go and make something to eat here in a bit. Talking about beaches, I was just down in Florida 2 weeks ago, near Cape Canaveral on the beach. It's 10 degrees cooler than here in Baltimore. But when you're right on the coast there and you're getting that nice onshore breeze, flies and no-see-ums and all the other biting creatures back along the sand dunes. But yep, it's beach time when I was down there for my sister's 75th birthday. She's right down there, and we have other family in Texas and in New Mexico. Yep, right, you were mentioning my brother. He is literally, as the crow flies, not even a mile. The extreme opposite of the long distance. And even within your own state, you remember, Brett, you would call anything over 100 miles was long distance, and sometimes it was more expensive to call somebody, and if you were in eastern PA, and you were calling somebody in western PA, say Pittsburgh or westward, you even paid more than calling California. And you think about those old phone days and party lines. Yeah, we had a party line during part of our growing up. That's what they used to call it. Multiple houses on the same circuit, but it would ring differently. Details of that. Different households. Maybe the duration of the rings, I forget, all sorts or whatever. And yeah, back in the old days when I was working at Westinghouse, I didn't want to pay that long distance, so the company had a special, the red phone, I called it, kind of like the government phones you see in the movies. And that was to call anywhere in the world, even internationally. So I would use that all the time to call my brother when he lived out in Colorado to avoid the long distance. The old red phone, except it wasn't that red, it was some other color. I don't know if it was orange or blue or something, but it was so that way everybody knew to go to that phone if they had to call out of state or far away. But I think it was mostly for international use, where you had to dial 20 numbers or wait for another operator in another country to answer, all that kind of stuff. But I'm buzzarding here and my stomach says no, go make some food. But Ed, you sound better than you did when you first chimed in, so that's getting you closer there. Yeah, the audio is still, I listen to you on a 12 KC filter, so and a small stereo speaker on a separate output. I'm not using the Rice built-in speaker, which are totally, very narrow and yellowy in general. This rig does pretty good with the 12 KC. You can hear down to 60 hertz without any trouble at all, but it rolls off pretty quick after that, and or even around there. But Brett will get you sounding good there. If there, I may stick in here and listen to you to see what you adjusted that Brett suggested in the EQ department. And but otherwise your audio was fine on that last transmission, but I wasn't really listening too carefully. But you looked good on the waterfall in general. I didn't see too much on the mini oscilloscope. It's also part of the display. TX. Good to hear you both on here today, and I'm sure we'll catch you here in the days ahead. And Ed, real quick, I must be starting to favor you. Brett went down to around 15-20 over. You were going 30 over on that last transmission, so your signal is building. So there you go. You sound great in here, both of you. KA3PTX, go ahead, Ed.
Okay, very good there, Peter. Yeah, 7.3, and great catching up with you. And I backed down some of the last three basic EQ settings a little bit. And the other thing I might have been doing too is close talking this mic. It's an RE20, and it may. I think there is a kind of a proximity effect. Let's see. Hello. So now I'm real close to the microphone, really close to the mic, and now I'm about a foot back. So it could have been a little bit of that too. Brett, why don't you say 7.3 there to Peter, and then turn it back to me for some final comments.
Yeah, 7.3 there, Peter. I'll let you go. Yeah, I gotta start rewarming dinner. We had takeout yesterday, so we're gonna heat that up. But I went out and got a nice crusty loaf of sourdough bread to go with it. So I got salad and chicken cacciatore. It's quite tasty. It's probably pretty healthy for you. We'll say 73 there, Peter. You're taking some dips with the QSB, but no problem. Usually pop up around 20 at least. And that sounds pretty good. And you know, normally, see, in the past when you close mic'd it, I could hear you, and then when you would back away, your audio would go way down. Now that didn't happen, so that's, you know, you want to run more input, less output with that thing. And yeah, it's sounding pretty good now. I like it. Of course, you'll get different reports from everybody, but I don't like too much low end in there, you know. I like it to be in there and go nice and low, but not be excessively boosted. So back to you there, Ed, and KA3PTX with KA3STN from N2DTS.
Agree with the comments there.
Okay, N2DTS with KA3STN signing for dinner sounds. Enjoy the dinner there. And Roger on heating up the leftovers there, Brett. That's easy. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it'll be going on here pretty soon, since it's getting on 5:30. Just a couple comments, and then it'll be my last transmission here. So, yeah, I did. I don't know if you can hear it. Like right now, I have the bass cut a little bit, and I'm going to push it up. So now the bass, the last three are really pushed up, and then I'm just bring things down just a little bit less bass. Actually, I could take them all the way down. So they're just like really cutting the bass now, really cutting the bass out. But like you said, yeah, everybody's going to be different. Really, yeah. Some people, I want a lot of bass. You know, other people don't want bass. I put it back kind of up where it was. Yeah, just on the long distance call stuff. Yeah, isn't that crazy? This is I remember as a kid, my grandparents lived in Maryland, and my parents, we'd go to visit them, and then we'd drive home, and to let them know that we were home okay on the drive, they had a system. My mom would call my grandmom and let it ring 2 times and then hang up. So when my grandmom heard the phone ring twice, she knew it was that we made it home safe, and they didn't have to actually talk to each other because that cost money. So that's the kind of things that went on back in the day when you paid for that long distance phone call like that. And I remember back in the 80s, you know, at work, you know, we had telephones there at work on our desks, you know, because, you know, you had to run permits or, you know, you had a phone, and doing all their long distance phone calls to their relatives and stuff from work because, you know, there was a phone there you could, you know, call because, you know, you had to have access to, you know, vendors maybe in California or whatever, so that, you know, I mean, people didn't, you know, they weren't tracking it that well, you know, like you were calling personal, but people would take advantage of that. So, and one thing I was going to mention about warm water, I guess you said the ocean water there in Jersey is pretty warm. The warmest I ever been in my life was in Hawaii.
And I wanted to say down to Peter there that, yeah, I visited Cape Canaveral one time on the beach with the little lizards running around and stuff. They had nice sand and all, but yeah, it's interesting about ocean water temperatures. It was real nice yesterday. We go down to Florida, we're on the Gulf Coast, it's really warm there. We're there early in the summer, or even in the spring, it's probably 75 to 80 degrees out in the water. And then later in the year, they got the red tides because it gets just too hot. And when I was out at LA on the beach, you know, in July, the water was like 50 degrees. It's brutally cold. The ocean water in California on the coast, it's just weird how that, you would think it would be opposite, but. And the bass sounded fine there, Ed, where you had it. As far as tone control goes, like I said, good luck tomorrow. And over to you there, Paul. WA3VJB and the group, sort of, from N2DTS. Good evening.
I've been listening for a little while. I completely concur with your comments, Brett, on where Ed has got his box adjusted to. The base was kind of tubby, and then it smoothed out when he had it to flat, and then it started sounding a little bit thin at the all the way pulled down. So Ed, yeah, where you had it was good. And also close talking seemed to clean it up a little bit. Or I'm sorry, getting away from close talking cleaned it up a little bit. When you were right up on it, it did sound like an input stage somewhere was overdriven. But that's probably not the case with the Max. It might, I doubt the RE20 would be overloading if you close talked it. But that's got, the Max has got so much gain, there's no need to close talk it now. As Brett points out, with the higher input level, you can move your head around, look at things in the shack, and get off mic and all, and the processor will bring it right back up for us, and it'll be even output. So yeah, you've done good. But I do concur. And yeah, I was catching Peter's comments about the long distance, not really geographically long distance, but still out of a toll area in Howard County where I grew up. And we just went to the Howard County Fair, as a matter of fact, just yesterday. There used to be billing operators. The phone exchange that we had was one of the oldest in Maryland, 286, and it was still just 301, one area code for the entire state. And 286 still had billing operators, so if you dialed outside of your local area, which was really small, an operator would come on and say, "What number are you calling from?" So here I was in high school, and I knew this girl in Catonsville, and she was on the other side of the toll, no toll line. So I erroneously gave a phone number and thought that I'd, gotten away scot-clean. Well, doggone if C&P Telephone didn't call the other party, in this case the girl I knew, and asked the person who answered the phone if they knew anybody in West Friendship. And I guess Gene ratted on me, and it came back to my dad and said, "Hey, do you know anybody in this 744 exchange in Catonsville?" And so it came back to me. It's like, "Who are you calling in Catonsville on 74?" Oh, that would have been, yeah. Oh, gee, I must have stuttered or something when I gave the number. I don't know. Oh, don't call her anymore. So that was that on that. And we didn't have any party lines, but yeah, that was a pretty crude exchange for sure. 286-2572, I still remember it. When you would call it, instead of having the electronic tone that told you the phone was ringing, it had this ugly, gnarly and that was the old, apparently, mechanical switchboard switching system. It was automatic, but the ringing tone was generated somehow mechanically, and it was very distinctive to that really, really old telephone service that we had, system that we had on 286. Anyway, I digress. Ed, I just wanted to say I'm glad you got your new Pink 40s installed there. Plenty of signal here into Annapolis. I know you're headed for the door. Brett, nice to hear you on. And good luck with the surgery tomorrow, Ed. Hope the knee goes in fine. And looking forward to spending some time on the radio there as you convalesce. KA3PTX with everybody else having signed WA3VJB. Go ahead, Ed.
Okay, very good there, Paul. Yep, good to hear you. WA3VJB, I guess Brett's still in here at N2DTS. KA3PTX. Yeah, I got too many knobs, I think, around here because, see, I got an equalizer in front of the Max. So actually, I got a preamp because I have a mic preamp, an RE20, a mic preamp, equalizer, and then the Max. So, and then the Super Senior. So, there's way too many knobs here, I guess. And trying to get things dialed in correctly is a little bit crazy here for me, not being an audio guy. You know, because you got, I basically have the preamp compression stuff all turned off. The preamp's just amplifying. Everything's turned off there, de-essers and enhancers, and I guess the expander's on gate just to give me some, reduce some of the background noise. But the, you know, and then of course the equalizer's got, you know, level controls, and the preamp's got a level control, and I got an output level control on the Max, and I don't know. I can get myself into trouble with all these knobs. But I think we're pretty close here, and thanks, Paul, for, immediately after I blew that FET when I was talking to you guys the other night, I think it was the next morning I changed out put the new FET in there, and making sure I'm not, it's definitely the audio peaks, because you guys had commented that, oh yeah, your audio is going way up, because I was getting close to the mic, and then it popped the FET, but like you said, there's no reason to get real close to the mic, because there's enough gain here on the input with all my knobs if I have them set right. So anyway, very good. Yep, I'm going to scoot out of here, but yeah, looking forward to catching up with everybody here on 40 meters more often here as I convalesce, as you say there, Paul. So very good. Yep, I'm going to sign out of here. I'll throw it over to Brett if he has any final comments, and I'll listen out here for a couple minutes, and then heading upstairs, N2DTS to take it with WA3VJB. This is KA3PTX saying 7-3 and listening out.
Okay, yeah, it's working well. Well, now you can close talk if you want to, and you don't have to though, so hopefully your level's going to be a lot more stable. I forget what they said, the dynamic range of the Maxes, and like 35 dB or something. You can really hammer it without it sounding bad. It's pretty amazing. Oh, maybe while you're laid up, you ought to spring for the 500 series. Get a 1-rack unit. You could plug that mic in and tailor the audio and be done with it. You don't have that many knobs to deal with. It's a real nice package. That 1-rack unit 500 is really nice. I really like the way this thing works. Once I got a decent FET in it that wasn't bad, but it's a one rack unit thing, and it does the job. It just it's all you need with it, with a reasonable microphone, because you do have the basically the tone control. So you got a boomy mic, you can kind of remove that. You got a mic with lacks a little highs, you can deal with that. You can notch out that mud frequencies a little bit, so it gives you enough to get it done. But yeah, like Paul said, good luck tomorrow. Hopefully it won't be too bad. And I'm giving you the the good pills for afterwards, so that you can get some sleep and all. And yeah, ham radio is a great hobby, for when you're laid up. Just hobble down to the shack and spend a couple hours talking into the microphone. Yes, and I remember, man, I got into the long distance market. That was my job. We had when I got into it in the 80s, it was satellite business systems, and long distance charges were so much that companies would pay you to put a satellite dish on their roof and connect you with offices all over the country with voice and data, as opposed to paying all those toll charges and data charges and all. And the long distance companies were making money selling long distance, and now they decided to give it away. And Sprint, remember Sprint used to be a pretty big company. They're like nothing now. They're cell phones. That's it. Before I retired, I worked in their offices, and they were just nothing left in them. So that's the deal. And in New Jersey was area code 609. The whole place, I think, was 609. And Pennsylvania was what, 215, I think? I don't know if all of Pennsylvania was 215, but I know Philadelphia was, so. And toll calls, yeah, man, toll calls. Don't make a toll call! Don't make a toll call! Man, it must have been really expensive back in those days, you know? My parents got really worked up about it. Yeah, you think now it's like, what it was, there's $10 for... They would get worked up over, $10 on the phone bill, because, that was... I guess it was a lot of money. Anyway, 73's guys. And Paul, I got to get out of here and start warming up to dinner. Good to hear you on N2DTS, clear with the group. Over to you there, Paul. Listen out.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go warm things up there, Brett. I didn't mean to kick you out. I'm glad you came back and filled in a little bit. Something just came up on 7285. I can hear it squeeing away. And the band's a little unsettled. I switched over to synchronous detection, actually stereo synchronous detection. That's how I could hear it on my the left ear pad of my headphones, because the lower part of center frequency comes in on the left and the high side comes in on the right. It's pretty cool. You can hear immediately who's interfering with you and slide the passband up accordingly. Yeah, very good. Both Ed and Brett, their comments. Yeah, I know my parents got exercised about the long distance tolls. And you know what was puzzling is that where we lived in West Friendship on that really old style phone system exchange also was like the cheapest monthly bill that you could get from C&P. They had limited calling. I think they had a call count. You could make up to 30 calls a day for X number of local call free. And past 30 local calls, they started charging you. And the geographic area that was covered by that exchange was also very small. It was most of the area where, my high school chums went to school, out toward western Howard County and up toward Carroll County and around. But it didn't cross into Baltimore County. That was the big city phone exchanges, like 744 in Catonsville. I'm sure Peter knows that one. And they wanted to charge you more, and they also wanted to charge you if you called long distance into there. So, yeah, I remember Dad jumping up and down. Don't call her anymore. Well, there goes that romance. Huh. I think I eventually resorted to having it was C&P credit card call. One of my first credit accounts. And I'd write a check at the end of the month. But then you had to call a whole nother number, which got your billing information. And then they gave you a second dial tone to dial the party that you wanted to reach. Oh, the things we had to do. Oh, but don't even mention remember the blue boxes and the red boxes that used to deliver certain pitches of tones that would actually fool the phone company into thinking it had a handshake on a legitimate call. And you could jump around the toll system and reconnect with whoever was at the other end. Oh, man, we could go on. Anyway, both you guys, let's talk in the days ahead here. Sounds like Ed's going to get some radio time. And I'll be on here, too. I'll go out of my way and make sure I get on. The weather here has been smoky. We could smell the wildfire smoke coming down from Canada. Been cloudy all day here, but no drizzle, no rain. And Brett, the bay water temperatures have been up as high as 85 degrees. Or was that Ed who was talking about Hawaii at 86 degrees? 87 degrees, as the lifeguard said. Chesapeake Bay out of Thomas Point Lighthouse has been 85 degrees. It's back down to about 83 now, but there's your bathtub of water. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Glad I checked in to say hello and to give Ed a tip of the hat there to get his rig back on and get the box in order. Yeah, that's it. KA3PTX N2DTS. 73 from Annapolis for now. WA3VJB.
Yep, 73s, Paul. Always a pleasure hearing you on.
Yep, that's the way, Paul. 7-3.
Good luck, Ed.